Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's headlines, we join Tzu Chi volunteers in Thailand as they tend to buy victims with consolation cash and relief supplies. Growing organic vegetables in your apartment is no longer a dream, as we meet He Junxian to find out about his sandwich gardening method. And in our regular look at Taiwan's fading trades, we meet a group of hardworking coffee tree farmers in Yunlin's Guken Township. In Thailand's Samut Prakan province, a fire broke out at 5 a.m. on October 21st due to a faulty electrical wire. Fortunately, no one was killed. Out of the 17 affected families, 6 were the houses of the Cambodian workers. On October 25th, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived to hand out emergency cash, blankets, straw mats and packs of relief supplies.
What was once a shelter that protected them from the sun and rain has now been charred to the ground and wiped out in a fire. Tzu Chi volunteers arrived on scene with emergency cash and packs of aid supplies.
I'm very happy and so grateful for the help of Tzu Chi volunteers. Here in Thailand, there are a lot of different race and religions, but Tzu Chi helps everyone.
The earnings in Thailand is triple that of Cambodia, so many Cambodians have crossed borders to make a living. For Mrs. Wee, who has been living in Thailand for over 10 years, this is her second home.
I am grateful that you are here to help us.
It's nice to have someone to reach out to us in times of darkness. This is especially so for the Cambodian workers who don't know who or where to seek help from. With Tzu Chi's help, everyone is truly happy.
In the community of Prem Rue Thai in Samut Prakan province, these Cambodian workers may lead impoverished lives, but with support and encouragement from each other, life can be beautiful.
In the Philippines, Tzu Chi volunteer Cai Wan Lei is a former graduate of the local Chiang Kai-shek College. As the school is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, Cai, who is a part of the Alumni Association, came together with his high school friends to donate money to help cataract patients. After taking part in the 154th ophthalmology free clinic, the donation increased to nearly $30,000, which means the number of patients who can now undergo surgery also increased from 50 to 200.
50 years after graduation, Tzu Chi volunteer Cai Wan Lei invites his high school classmates to visit the Philippines Tzu Chi Free Clinic Center.
I want to share Tzu Chi with my classmates so that they can cultivate blessings as well. They are very happy and eager to participate.
Entering the free clinic, Cai's classmates observe the best medical equipment and quality doctors in the operating room. Tzu Chi's devotion to providing the best service to patients inspired them to donate money that will allow 200 future cataract surgeries.
We plan to make a donation to help 50 cataract patients. However, everyone was eager to make a contribution, so in the end, we collected enough money to help 200 patients.
Thanks to the help of kind-hearted people everywhere, over 4,700 cataract patients have undergone surgery at the Tzu Chi Free Clinic Center. Among those visiting the center are also members from Taiwanese in the Philippines Alumni Association, which helped victims in the 7th August floods.
It's good for the Philippines. Helping Filipinos is a good thing, so we decide to support Tzu Chi.
Helping those in need brings these classmates closer together and spreads the love of Tzu Chi one step farther.
In our continuing look at how city dwellers in Taiwan are using urban spaces to garden, we visit the home of He Junxian, a teacher who uses what is called a sandwich method to grow tasty and 100% organic grown vegetables in his apartment building. Requiring minimal care and very little investment, the sandwich method is perfect for those that don't have a lot of time or space but still want to try growing their own vegetables.
In the middle of this concrete jungle, is there actually space to grow a vegetable garden? A teacher for half his life, He Junxian dreams of moving to the countryside and becoming a farmer at retirement. However, unable to wait that long, He began growing vegetables on his balcony using what is called the sandwich method of gardening, a method particularly suitable for small urban spaces.
The sandwich method is to simply lay down one layer after the next. You don't need to till the soil, you just stack them on top of each other. It is really suitable for spaces like an apartment's balcony.
In the sandwich method, gardeners lay down alternating layers of kitchen refuse and rice husks. There is no need to till the soil as the plant grows. Simply adding more layers of kitchen refuse and rice husks to act as compost is enough.
First, take your seeds and estimate how much you are going to be growing. Then in a bowl of dirt, slowly and evenly mix in the seeds. In just a second, we will plant this mixture.
In the sandwich method, the first step is to mix rice husks with the soil. The rice husks will add to the porosity of the soil and ensure the soil stays loose and can breathe. Next, rice husks are placed on top to prevent the refuse from smelling.
I haven't put any on here. You can already tell that this one already doesn't smell.
Rice husks have a natural antibacterial properties and thus can inhibit the odors of the kitchen refuse as it ferments. But if you are just starting out, in order to ensure the plants get the nutrients needed, you need to add a layer of soil. Next is to sprinkle the seeds.
We spread out the seeds equally. The seeds can't be directly on top, so we have to add another layer of dirt and then another layer of rice husks above that to protect it.
After that, it is easy. As the plant grows, all you need to do is occasionally add new layers of kitchen refuse, rice husks, and soil.
As the plant grows, the soil level will drop. At that time, you then add more kitchen refuse and sprinkle rice husks on top of that. When I grow water spinach, from one tray I usually get 25 plants, which is about a handful. That is enough to make one side dish for my family of 4.
Although He Junxian doesn't grow enough to be fully self-sufficient, his little garden, with a minimum of hassle, produces fresh organic veggies that adds a special touch to family meals.
Next, we meet one of Tzu Chi's New Shoot Scholarship recipient, 3rd grader Zheng Hongqi. Coming from a single-parent family, Zheng has taken on the responsibility of caring for his brother, who suffers from autism. Upon receiving the news that he was awarded a New Shoot Scholarship, Zheng says he wants to use the money to buy things for his family.
Seeing Tzu Chi volunteer Lai Huang Biju, Zheng Hongqi quickly gives her a big hug. For the past few years, Lai has been taking care of Hongqi just like her own grandson.
因为是故事节，他们很疼我，跟我们说故事。
你喜不喜欢他们来？
喜欢。
Unlike other children, Hongqi will always review his school notes when he comes home. His hard work has paid off as he was recently awarded the DaAi District New Shoot Scholarship Award.
你都没有想说要帮自己买个什么小礼物吗？
没有。
The first gift Zheng wants to buy after receiving the award is not for himself, but for...
是给弟弟。
I want to buy drawing materials for my brother because he likes to draw.
Growing up in a single-parent family where Hongqi's mother is often busy working, Hongqi takes on the responsibility of caring for his autistic brother. Other than buying a gift for his younger brother, Hongqi also wants to buy gifts for his grandfather who suffers from liver cirrhosis.
I want to buy a jacket, gloves and scarf for my grandfather because he gets sick in the winter very often.
Knowing that family duties and virtuous deeds should never be delayed, Hongqi uses his own money and time to repay the grace of his mother and grandfather.
In Malaysia's Kota Kinabalu, after surveying over 1,000 families who are applying for Tzu Chi's New Shoot Scholarship, Tzu Chi volunteers found that 2 out of every 10 families they visited were single-parent families. 37-year-old Rosbika was one example. Thanks to the volunteers' care and funding, her family now has the resources to get by, and her child is able to receive further education.
My life is no easier than yours. I hope you can cherish the scholarship.
New Shoot Scholarship recipient Ling Guotong shares his experiences at the award ceremony to encourage the other 300 recipients that also come from low-income families.
Parents pay for their education, hoping they become an outstanding person. So I want to give them this message as encouragement. Don't give up. We can create a better future.
Ling Guotong comes from a single-parent family and now studies at a Chinese middle school. His teacher recommended that he apply for Tzu Chi's Filial Piety Award for his excellence in school and filial piety at home.
I recommended Alexander Lim Ketong because his effort, his positive outlook in life, and yet his studies are not bad.
Ling Guotong's father passed away 3 years ago. His family's income now relies solely on his mother, who works as an assistant for a cook. The family's financial burden used to depress her.
I used to be suicidal because I was really stressed. My relatives said if I committed suicide, what would happen to my children? Was I going to send them to an orphanage?
In 2010, Tzu Chi volunteers heard about the Ling family and began to help with scholarships as well as subsidies for living expenses.
This is mercy from God. People rarely help others like you do, regardless of faith, ethnicity, and race. Your help has eased many of my burdens.
The award Len received makes his mother proud and also encourages the entire family to continue moving forward.
In today's feature report on Taiwan's fading trades, we travel to Yunlin School Township to meet a homegrown coffee expert, Zhang Lai-en. Since young, Zhang has followed his grandfather and father in growing coffee trees and producing locally grown coffee beans. Regardless of the tough competition from abroad, Zhang has never considered giving up and has even won an award for his efforts in producing made-in-Taiwan coffee beans. Driving through the mountainous roads in his truck, coffee expert Zhang Lai-en appreciates the scenery on his way to work each day. And this coffee plantation is where Zhang grows organic coffee beans.
After we mow the grass will degrade and become organic fertilizer. If we do this, we are able to maintain the water in the soil and at the same time keep it loose.
At Zhang Lai-en's farm, which is 4 hectares in size, no chemical fertilizers are used.
Most people think that coffee fruit is brown in color, but in fact, the ready-to-harvest fruit is red and can be eaten right away. It does not have the bitter taste of coffee bean, but is sweet instead.
Between the fruit meat and the seed, there is a layer of fruit gum, which is a natural sugar.
This handful of red coffee fruit is the hard work of Taiwan's coffee farmers.
Taiwan has a tropical climate and is also an island, so we are able to produce quality coffee beans.
Apart from growing coffee trees, Zhang also plants a variety of ferns and Taiwan incense cedar, and has even replaced the concrete fence with cigar flowers.
Before, this was a betel nut tree farm. Later, we began planting coffee trees as well as growing some organic vegetables.
Zhang Laien's farm is a true example of how humans can coexist with nature.
We see many tree frogs around, which means we have a great ecological system here.
The coffee farm is also now a tourist attraction. Walking barefoot on the grass, city dwellers are able to enjoy the beauty nature offers and also learn to appreciate the hard work of these farmers.
The unique feature of Taiwan's coffee industry is that it is based on health promotion and getting to know Mother Nature.
Zhang Laian says that the cost of producing local coffee beans is twice or even 3 times higher than buying imported coffee beans. Though many coffee farmers are starting to grow other plants, Zhang is determined to continue his work.
To be able to grow coffee beans and sell them in far-flung corners, I feel that I'm also creating a different outlook for our village.
Yunlin's Guken Township has made a name for itself in the 3 decades of hard work that residents have dedicated to growing quality coffee beans. Zhang also grows a variety of organic vegetables and fruits.
Our fertilizers are made from coffee residue and fruit peels. After fermenting, the fertilizers are then returned to the nature.
The coffee experts not only plant coffee trees, but also bakes coffee beans.
When we peel off the inner shell, we get raw coffee beans ready to bake.
After 5 minutes of baking under a 220-degree temperature, the dark brown-colored coffee beans we see in the market are produced. The farm also brews coffee using a vacuum coffee maker that captures the original taste of the beans.
It has a very smooth taste, unlike some other coffee that tastes sour.
I think Taiwan's coffee is just as good as coffee from abroad, and I think we are capable of competing with others.
Of the hundreds of coffee shops around the islands, Zhang Laien's locally produced coffee is a shining star. Many consider the coffee produced in Yunlin's Guken Township as the backbone of Taiwan's coffee industry. Behind the scenes, however, are the hard work of many coffee farmers. Among them, 96-year-old Huang Genzhi began planting and managing a coffee plant 80 hectares in size since the Japanese colonial period. Today, despite the fall of the industry, Huang's 2 sons have decided to return home and take on the family baton. With a walking stick in hand, 96-year-old Huang Genzhi is showing us his coffee farm. Every tree and leaf here is the hard work of the nonagenarian. Huang Genzhi's years of experience even exceeds these coffee trees, which were planted more than 70 years ago.
Just by looking at it, I can tell whether this coffee tree will grow well or not. It can't have too little or too many flowers, or else it will get blown away by the wind and the fruits will not form.
With a passion for his work, Huang remembers more coffee varieties than his own children or grandchildren's names. In the Japanese colonial period, the senior resident was in charge of Guken's coffee plant, which was 80 hectares in size.
After cultivating in one field, we continued to the next field. Some staff weeded the grass, some dug holes, while others did the planting.
Showing us his employment certificate from 1941, Huang was paid $25 a month for his work, which was considered a great salary at the time. The Japanese had early on realized that Taiwan was suitable for planting coffee.
At the time when the Japanese planted coffee trees, they had to make sure the distance between each tree was exact and whether they were in line.
After the Japanese left Taiwan, Huang began working for the Yunlin County government. With the passing of time, despite the quality of the coffee beans he produced, the industry went into decline due to overseas competition.
Most of the imported coffee beans are dried right after harvest. If not, they will not be able to supply the large amount of production.
In 1981, Gukeng's national coffee plant went fallow, and the remaining coffee farmers had to grow other vegetables. Luckily, it was then that a group of Japanese delegates came to Taiwan on a mission.
When the Japanese learned of my dad's work was recorded in history, they came to look for us.
Huang Genzi's second son, Huang Senmo, retired last year from a government job and decided to return home to help his father. At 64 years of age, Huang Senmo may be tired physically from the field work, but he says he's living a fulfilled life now.
With the right timing and great resources, I thought I could make some friends here. I don't have to make money out of planting coffee.
Huang Senli, the youngest son, went through a few different careers before also returning home to take on the family baton.
When I was little and on the way to school, I would pass through a whole area of coffee plantations. It was a fun memory for me.
Every now and then, the father and sons will get together and enjoy a cup of their locally produced coffee.
To me, the coffee tree are like old friends whom you can talk to about everything. They are also like family members. It is an unique plant.
Despite the fading of the industry, Huang Genzi's eyes shine with passion when speaking of coffee, and he's determined to continue to produce locally made coffee for as long as he can. In the United States, students and parents at the Tzu Chi Great Love Elementary Schools and Kindergarten in different areas of Los Angeles all celebrated Halloween by making their own eco-friendly costumes. Meanwhile, the students from the St. Stephen's Tzu Chi Academy donated their lolly money to help those in greater need.
These toys don't cost anything as they are all handmade.
The students can play this on Halloween.
The ring toss game is also easy to play.
This will be strong enough when we glue the three of them together. Then we can use it for the ring toss game.
The thoughtful designs of the games attract children's attention. To celebrate Halloween, the children at Tzu Chi Great Love Elementary School and Monrovia DaAi Kindergarten held a joint event where parents and students made their own costumes.
This is made of cardboard boxes, and it took us about 2 weeks to make them.
It has more originality and is also eco-friendly. It is not like those that you buy in stores where everyone looks the same.
To celebrate Halloween, children at the St. Demas Tzu Chi Academy decided to embrace vegetarianism and even donated the money for purchasing candy to those in greater need.
The recent Hurricane Sandy have left a trail of destruction across the east coast of the United States, and many New Yorkers were forced to evacuate to temporary shelters. With requests of help from the Office of Emergency Management, New York City volunteers came together and in 3 hours prepared 700 servings of hot meals to help disaster victims. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.